Hi, this is Alan Seid, founder of Cascadia Workshops and the Blackbelt Communication Skills online learning program. This video is on conflict resolution. Now, I wrote a blog post a few years ago called "You Suck at Conflict." And what it was trying to point out was that so many of the problems in our world, in our relationships, in our families, at work, happen because we are conflict avoidant. And my point in that blog post was that we need to become good at doing conflict. We need to know how to handle conflict well and be able to see it as an opportunity to create more connection, more mutual understanding, and a lot of healing. Now, that said, conflict prevention is much more powerful than conflict resolution. Conflict prevention is preferable for 1,000 reasons. I'll just name a few. It's cheaper. It takes less time, it has less of an emotional toll, and it tends to erode trust less than once a conflict actually happens. So for so many reasons, conflict prevention is really important. Now, before there's a conflict, most of us are not in enough pain to be moved to learn the skills of conflict prevention. So once there is a conflict, oftentimes the pain level is such that we seek out help, we find a professional mediator, or we reach out to someone who can help us to resolve the conflict. And without conflict prevention and without conflict resolution, things can escalate with really devastating results. Now, there are many methodologies for resolving conflict. I'm a certified trainer in nonviolent communication, which was named that because the founder of it wanted to align himself with Gandhi's movement of truth-telling and compassion. But I've also studied many other methodologies. I have 60+ hours of training with our Dispute Resolution Center, which was created by our state legislature. So there are many methodologies, but again, conflict prevention is preferable. Now, when we get into conflict resolution, there are generally two types of conflict mediation. One of those is formal mediation, where you're invited to help somebody out with their conflict. The other, informal mediation, is also known as sticking your nose in somebody else's business. And I've done plenty of both. Now, one of the keys to being able to resolve conflict is to know where in the situation the conflict is and isn't. So let me clarify this. What motivates us in our day-to-day, in our actions, in our words, are our universal human needs, that which is deeply important to us. Now, beyond survival needs, beyond air, food, water, we have needs that are core human motivators. They're the conditions that are necessary for us to thrive, and they're common to all human beings. So an example of universal human needs are things like love, trust, creative expression, having a sense of choice about the things that impact us. So a whole list of needs. This is not where the conflict resides because we all have the same needs. However, very important distinction is the distinction between needs and strategies. And I'm going to define strategies as the ways we go about meeting our needs. Needs, the way I'm defining them, and I just want to mention that needs are an energy that wants to flow, not a hole that wants to be filled. Our universal human needs are, again, common to all people. However, the strategies, the ways we go about trying to meet those needs are not universal. So I'll give you an example. I have a need for safety and protection. My strategy, which will contribute to my need for safety and protection, might be that I go out and I get to know all my neighbors. So once I know all my neighbors, that contributes to my need for safety and protection. One of my neighbors has the same need, safety and protection, but that neighbor goes out and buys an assault rifle. Again, it's the same need, safety and protection. It's a beautiful quality, a beautiful energy. However, the strategies, the ways we're choosing to go about meeting those needs can be poles apart, and that is where the conflicts lie. So conflicts are always at the level of strategies, at the level of how are we attempting to satisfy universal human needs. But there is no such thing as conflicting needs because we all have the same needs. However, in some situations, what's alive, let's say, in the moment, what's present, might be one thing one moment, and it might be something the next moment, it might be something else the next moment. So one moment it might be trust, the next moment it might be safety, the next moment it might be rest and relaxation. So, and for the other person, what's showing up in that moment might be different, but we do all share all the same universal needs. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I come home and my wife meets me at the door, Trisha, and she is a little bit dressed up, looking nice, and she says, "Surprise, I got us a babysitter to be with the kids so that you and I can go out to dinner and see a movie." And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's been a long work day, it's been a long work week. The last thing I want to do is go out and be around people. I just want to lay on the couch for a couple of hours. Now it seems that there's a conflict, but again, remember the conflict is only at the level of strategies. So let's say that she and I engage in a conversation and we're curious about each other's needs. And so I ask her, okay, so behind going out to dinner and seeing a movie, what needs of yours would that satisfy? And let's say that she says, well, it would satisfy needs for connection and needs for play. And I can relate to that. I also have the same needs. Maybe in that moment, I have other needs that are more present for me. So she gets curious with me and says, well, Alan, I know it's not a need to lie on the couch, so could you tell me more what it is you're trying to satisfy with that? And as we peel the layers of the onion, we go deeper and deeper toward the universal human needs, and we realize that my needs are for downtime, relaxation, and self-nurturance. Again, she also shares those needs, so she can relate to that. Now, here's the key. In any conflict, if we can take the conversation and strip it down to the level of universal human needs, we are much more likely to see each other's humanity, much more likely to see each other as human beings and begin the process of healing and of resolving the conflict. And then of finding other strategies that can take into account all of the needs that are on the table. That's really the essence of conflict resolution. Now, if we start with a solution with strategies and don't create the connection, those strategies will be more likely to be short-lived. They won't be as durable, and we won't necessarily have buy-in, especially if we start fixing and resolving before we're really clear what all the needs are. But when we do have connection, when we do have mutual understanding, then problem solving becomes collaborative. If you get what my needs are, and I get what your needs are, and you trust that I understand what your needs are, and I trust that you understand what my needs are, and let's say we take it further, and we both trust that our needs matter to the other person, then that's a magical place. Then problem solving truly becomes collaborative, and we can work together to find what's going to be mutually agreeable and mutually enriching. So going back to the situation with my wife, once she understands that what's driving my behavior to want to lay on the couch is actually downtime, relaxation, self-nurturance, and when I understand that what's driving her behavior are her needs for fun and for connection, now we can begin to explore how we might possibly meet those needs. So maybe we send the babysitter and the kids out somewhere and we get takeout and watch a movie at home. Or maybe she says, Alan, what if you lay on the couch for an hour and then we go out to dinner and see a movie? Would that work for you? No, I get you to check inside and see whether or not that would work for me. Or perhaps I realize, oh, I have the whole day off tomorrow and I can get all my needs for downtime and rest and self-nurturance met then. So I have a genuine shift, a change of heart, and I'm perfectly willing to go out to dinner and see a movie now. So again, let me just emphasize this piece. For any set of needs, we may have 100, 1,000, or 10,000 strategies that could satisfy those needs. So in a conflict, we need to be able to separate what the conflict is actually about, where it actually resides, which are the strategies, and separate that from the needs, the universal human needs, help people connect at the level of needs, and then we can problem solve the strategies. So it's really valuable to learn a vocabulary of feelings and needs. And by needs, I mean universal human motivators. Keep this in mind. Universal human needs are an energy that wants to flow, not a hole that wants to be filled. Being able to name them allows us to take this energy that we don't know what it is exactly and bring it into the conscious mind. Now we have words for it. But additionally, the words will allow us to give other people a window to be able to understand our experience. And likewise, they will help us have a window into understanding other people's experience. So learning a language of feelings and needs is really important. Next, we need to be able to distinguish between needs and strategies. So the things that people choose to do to meet their needs are not universal, and that's often where the conflicts lie. The conflicts can never be at the level of universal human needs because we all share the same needs. So we just need to distinguish the two. It gets us in trouble when we don't distinguish the two, especially in an intimate relationship. When I say something like, you are my need, it will get us into trouble if we can't distinguish needs and strategies. Now, in an actual conflict, we need to be able to slow things down, slow down the conversation, so that we can create the connection at the level of needs. And needs are just another way of thinking about the life that is running through us, the life energy, and how it is seeking to manifest. If we can slow down the conversation in a conflict, we can begin to reveal those precious needs and begin to connect with those needs with each other. Once we're connected at the level of needs, now we can problem solve. Now we can explore strategies. I caution you to jump to strategies too soon, to jump to fix it or resolve it too soon. Take the time. It's so worth it. Take the time to connect at the level of feelings and needs. Once you're connected, then problem solve all day. If that's what you need to do, that's fine. But I caution you to notice the tendency to jump to solutions and to jump to fix it a little bit prematurely. So slow things down, make sure that you're connecting at that level of feelings and needs. If you need to bring a professional mediator or some other skilled professional to help with a conflict or a misunderstanding, that's fine, that's great. My goal in my programs and when I work with my coaching clients is to help you become self-sufficient so that you're not dependent on a third party to get you through it, but you have the skills to get yourself through it, and also you will be able to help others through it once you have those skills. Thanks so much for your time and attention.